For the most part, when people come up to me, it's Louis Tully from They just point at me and go, Ghostbusters. And I
Picture this. You're one of the biggest comedy stars on the planet. Studios are throwing millions at you. Your movies are dominating the box office. You can literally pick any script you want. Then in one devastating moment, everything changes, and you make a decision that Hollywood will never understand. You walk away from it all, forever. That's exactly what Rick Moranis did, and what happened to him will absolutely destroy you. But before we get into the heartbreaking truth, I need something from you right now. This channel is all about uncovering the real stories behind the legends you grew up watching. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, you're missing out on the truth nobody else will tell you. Hit that subscribe button, smash the notification bell, and drop a like on this video right now because this story is going to blow your mind. And listen, after you hear the shocking reason Rick Moranis vanished, I want you to comment below and tell me, would you make the same choice he did? Now let's get into it. Toronto, 1953. Rick Moranis entered this world with no idea he'd become one of the most beloved comedic actors of all time. He started as a radio DJ while still in high school, entertaining listeners with his quick wit and natural charm. But radio couldn't contain his talent for long. His breakthrough came when he joined Second City Television in its third season, where he unleashed his comedic genius on an unsuspecting world. Working alongside Dave Thomas, Moranis created Bob and Doug McKenzie, two beer-loving Canadian brothers who became instant icons. The sketches were originally meant to be just 2 minutes of identifiable Canadian content, but they exploded into a cultural phenomenon that defined an entire generation of comedy. The characters became so massively popular that every single episode needed a Bob and Doug sketch. Comedy albums followed, becoming huge sellers. Then came the inevitable next step, a feature film. In 1983, Moranis co-wrote, co-directed, and starred in Strange Brew, bringing Bob McKenzie to the big screen. The movie was absolute madness in the best possible way, a bizarre comedy that knew exactly what it was and delivered pure entertainment. Critics praised it, audiences loved it, and the film doubled its budget at the box office. Moranis had officially arrived as a legitimate filmmaker. But he wasn't satisfied making the same movie over and over. In 1984, he took a sharp turn with Streets of Fire, a musical directed by Walter Hill. The film confused audiences with its ambitious vision, earning only $8 million against a $14 million budget. Critics appreciated the visual style but called it overly ambitious. For most actors, this would be a career-threatening disaster. Rick Moranis wasn't most actors. Later that same year, 1984, Moranis landed the role that would transform him from talented comedian into international superstar. Ghostbusters hit theaters like a supernatural explosion. While Bill Murray commanded the spotlight, Moranis absolutely stole scenes as Louis Tully, the nerdy accountant who becomes possessed by demonic forces. Here's what most people don't know. Many of Louis Tully's funniest moments were completely improvised by Moranis himself. His creative instincts shaped the character into something unforgettable. The movie crushed the box office, earning nearly $300 million worldwide. Suddenly, Rick Moranis wasn't just another comedian. He was a genuine movie star who could open a film. The success kept rolling. He reunited with Walter Hill for Brewster's Millions, with Richard Pryor and John Candy. Then came Head Office, though it only managed $3 million at the box office. But none of that mattered because 1986 brought something special. Little Shop of Horrors showcased a completely different side of Moranis. He could sing, dance, and carry a musical. As Seymour Krelborn, he delivered heartfelt performances of Howard Ashman and Alan Menken's incredible songs. Roger Ebert called it the type of film that builds cult followings, and he was absolutely right. Despite underwhelming theatrical returns with $39 million against a $25 million budget, the film found massive success on home video and became a beloved classic. Then 1987 delivered one of the most quotable comedies ever made, Spaceballs. Mel Brooks cast Moranis as the villainous Dark Helmet in this Star Wars parody, and he dominated every single frame he appeared in. His comedic timing was perfection. Every line became instantly memorable. The film earned $38 million on a $22 million budget, and while critics gave it lukewarm reviews for arriving 10 years after Star Wars, audiences recognized it as comedy gold. Decades later, Spaceballs remains one of the most rewatchable films in existence. The year 1989 became the absolute pinnacle of Rick Moranis' career. First came Ghostbusters 2, reuniting the entire cast for another paranormal adventure. The sequel earned over 215 million worldwide, though critics found it inferior to the original masterpiece. Moranis delivered another solid performance, but this sequel would be his last appearance in the franchise. He declined to return for future installments. Then came the film that would define him for an entire generation, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Originally titled Teeny Weenies and written for Chevy Chase, the project found its perfect star in Moranis. He played Wayne Selinsky, the lovable amateur inventor who accidentally miniaturizes his children to a quarter-inch tall. The film was pure magic, creative, hilarious, and genuinely thrilling. Audiences went absolutely crazy for it. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids demolished expectations, earning nearly $223 million worldwide against an $18 million budget. Critics praised it as a winning family adventure that worked on every level. Moranis had launched another massive franchise. He closed out his miracle year with Parenthood, starring opposite Steve Martin in Ron Howard's ensemble comedy drama. The film resonated deeply with audiences, pulling in $126 million and earning widespread critical acclaim. Moranis even won the American Comedy Award for Funniest Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture. Everything he touched turned to gold. Rick Moranis stood at the absolute top of Hollywood. He was bankable, beloved, and in demand. Studios wanted him for everything. His asking price kept climbing. At this moment, he could have coasted to superstardom for decades. Then everything shattered. February 4th, 1991, Ann Belsky, Rick Moranis' wife, lost her battle with cancer. She was only 35 years old. In one devastating instant, Moranis went from having it all to losing what mattered most. He was suddenly a widower and a single father to two young children who desperately needed him. Hollywood doesn't stop for grief. Movies were scheduled. Contracts were signed. Millions of dollars were on the line. The industry expected him to keep going, to push through the pain, to maintain the momentum of his skyrocketing career. Rick Moranis made a different choice. He chose his children over his career. He chose being present over being famous. He chose what actually mattered. The decision was immediate. In his own words, "I'm a single parent, and I just found that it's too difficult to manage to raise my kids and to do the traveling involved in making movies. So I took a little bit of a break." That little break would last over 2 decades and counting. Moranis didn't quit cold turkey. He gradually reduced his output to almost nothing. In 1992, he appeared in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, reversing the shrinking premise by making his toddler son into a giant. The sequel pulled in $96 million, but received harsh reviews calling it a one-joke premise stretched too far. None of that mattered to Moranis anymore. His priorities had fundamentally shifted. He took 2 roles in C4. The Flintstones paired him with John Goodman in the live-action adaptation where he played Barney Rubble. Critics savaged the film, but families loved it, making it Moranis' highest-grossing movie worldwide with over $341 million. That same year brought Little Giants, an underdog youth football movie that perfectly captured the spirit of mid-90s kids' sports films. Critics dismissed the humor as juvenile, completely missing the point that it was made for children. His final theatrical appearance came in 1996 with Big Bully, pairing him with Tom Arnold in what became a legendary disaster. The film earned a rare 0% on Rotten Tomatoes and bombed spectacularly with only $2 million against a $15 million budget. Then came his actual final live-action role, the direct-to-video Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves in '97. This was Disney's first ever live-action direct-to-video film, and critics hated it, calling it stale and boring. And just like that, Rick Moranis was done with live-action filmmaking forever. While he stopped appearing on camera, Moranis occasionally lent his voice to animated projects. He and Dave Thomas reunited to voice Moose Brothers in Disney's Brother Bear, which earned $250 million worldwide. He also released comedy albums, even earning a Grammy nomination in 2006 for Best Comedy Album. But these were rare exceptions to his new life of privacy and family focus. Years passed. A generation of kids grew up never knowing Rick Moranis on screen. Then in 2020, Disney announced Shrunk, a new installment with Moranis returning to the franchise that made him a household name. Fans exploded with excitement. Finally, after decades, we'd see him again. But the pandemic shut down production, and the film remains in development limbo. Then came October 1st, 2020. Rick Moranis was walking down a New York City sidewalk near Central Park, 30 in the morning, when a complete stranger approached him and punched him directly in the head without warning. The unprovoked assault left the 67-year-old with injuries to his head, back, and hip. Security footage captured the attack, and when it went public, the entire world erupted in outrage. This wasn't just any random person being assaulted. This was Rick Moranis, a symbol of kindness, decency, and childhood joy. The coward who attacked him was eventually arrested, but the damage went beyond physical injuries. It felt like an attack on everything good about the 1980s and 90s. Here's what you need to understand. Rick Moranis made the choice that almost nobody in Hollywood ever makes. He sacrificed fame, money, and career momentum to be the father his children needed during their most important years. He gave up everything the world tells us matters: red carpets, magazine covers, multi-million-dollar paychecks, for something that actually does matter: family. His filmography remains timeless. Ghostbusters, Little Shop of Horrors, Spaceballs, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Parenthood. These films shaped multiple generations. His characters still make us laugh. His performances still hold up perfectly, and his decision to walk away makes us respect him infinitely more. Nothing bad happened to Rick Moranis. He didn't have a scandal. He didn't burn bridges. He didn't lose his talent. He simply recalibrated his entire life around what truly mattered when tragedy forced that decision upon him. That's not a sad story. That's heroism in its purest form. The man who made shrinking kids look fun taught us the most important lesson of all. Some things are bigger than fame. Some roles are more important than any movie. Some legacies matter more than any box office record. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Rick Moranis made the right decision walking away from Hollywood? Would you sacrifice your dream career for your family? Drop your answer in the comments right now. And if you have nothing but respect for this legend, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel, because we're just getting started uncovering the truth behind the stars you grew up watching. Share this video with someone who needs to know the real story. Rick Moranis deserves every bit of love we can give him. I'll see you in the next one.